Spooky mysteries, cuentos y chills, English y español. We give you the thrills, from ancient shadows to stories untold. Ven, escucha, let the mystery unfold.
Okay, now we are live to Twitch, YouTube, and Riverside, but no one ever joins on Riverside.
Okay.
So, if you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so my name is Ari. I go by Doll. Just a long story on how I got that nickname, but and I started following Spooky Studios just kind of on TikTok, I believe. And then I went over to YouTube and I've been watching a lot of your stuff, and I've always had that interest, like many other people in their 30s and 40s, of serial killers and paranormal type stuff. So yeah, I just, you talked to me, invited me on, and now we're here to talk about some very interesting people.
Yeah. Ted Bundy and the Green River Killer. I can't remember what his name is.
His name is Gary Ridgway.
Yeah. He looks like a teacher.
Mm-hmm. He does. He does. And there's actually a stand-up comedian that was recently in Seattle, and I saw a video on that, and he looks just like the Green River Killer, but with the goatee. But if he shaves, he looks like Macklemore. So either way, he's kind of,
Yeah, he's in a weird category there. Yeah.
But yeah, so we came up with the two because I'm actually in Washington State.
Yes.
So it's funny that we're doing this on Ted Bundy because I'm actually pretty close to Sammamish, Lake Sammamish, which is where he kind of started in Washington State. I actually frequent that area, I don't know, maybe like twice a month. And it's a very, I can't imagine like in those days, because currently in this day and age, it's a very quiet, very serene lake. So just to think of like, this was what, in the 70s, I believe, that it happened.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And so just to think of like how it is right now, like it was probably even more quiet then, because it's a very residential area. I mean, the place where he started picking up girls, very secluded. It was like nowadays it's a very like private boat launch park. So you really had to, know the area and that sort of thing. And like when people say, Washington, it's like Seattle, it's right there. No, like Seattle, downtown, like the area that he lived in, as opposed to Lake Sammamish, that's like depending on how you go, it's like a 30 to 40 mile or minute drive. So it's quite a ways. Yeah, so he was really involved.
I like how you call it a 30-minute drive quite a ways. I'm from Texas.
Well, yeah, I lived in Montana, so I also know. But like for people that like live in, I guess more condensed areas, they'll kind of get that. Yeah.
Every time I hear people talking like that, I'm like, 30 minutes is just like an average drive.
Yeah.
Like, to go to where I used to work was a 30-minute 40 drive.
Yeah, when I used to work, like the last couple of jobs I've had were work from home. But when I used to go out to the world to work, I did, about 35 to 40-minute drives.
I'm gonna hate doing that again.
Yeah.
But I need money.
Yep, same here.
So, you mentioned you watched the Netflix Monsters Ed Gein.
Yes. And you know what? Let me tell you, just because, I mean, my work is actually around it started around mental health, and I kind of settled in social services the last few years. And I will say this, like watching that, at first I got confused when they started switching between scenes and timelines. But then I realized towards maybe like the third, fourth time that they did that is that they were doing, you're watching the show, but you're also watching what's going on in his mind as his schizophrenia is developing.
Yes.
And that threw me for the loop. Like at first I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, why are we going to like,
To
you know, the
me,
Nazi stuff and yeah, all of that.
when I started catching on about that was when he first killed his brother.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then he got that comic book about the Nazis.
Yeah.
And then you see all the prisoners run by him while he's on the tractor,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not leaving footprints. So I was like, okay, so this is all in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows that like back then that kind of stuff was never accounted for.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there was plenty of, well, I mean, to think about it, is like one of the things that he mentions in the show is later in the years, as he's been in the mental institution for, you know, however amount of years it was between when he first got in to when he makes that comment, is he states there's crazier and crazier people coming in here.
Yes.
Because the mental health started being looked at more, you know, like you used to like do the things that he did back in the day, and then they caught you and it's like, okay, you're going to prison, like that's it and that's all. And like, to be honest, like towards when he started to realize sitting with his doctor what he had, the fact that he was a schizophrenic, and like when he in his mind realized it, to me, like I know he did a lot of messed up things, but that to me was it was a sad moment, because it's like he's realizing that there's something wrong with him, and maybe he didn't want to be that person, you know, maybe he was just had all this trauma from his mom. Don't get me started on mom, but like, you know, all of those things just kind of went together, and it molded this person that already probably had that trait of like mental issues. And yeah, that part when he's realizing his schizophrenia, that was sad.
Towards the beginning, you're kind of like, this guy's messed up. But as it progresses, once he gets caught and he ends up in the institution, you kind of start feeling bad for him. Like I was like, oh, towards the end when he was having those episodes where he would see the other killers that idolized him, I was like, did he just die? Like I was like, oh my god, he died. But then he kept going on a little bit more, and then he actually dies. I'm like, oh, it's like, oh shit, like he's still suffering from all this, and he's trying to come to peace with everything.
Yeah. No, like he literally hallucinated his own death.
He did it twice, I think.
Well, the second time he actually goes up the stairs, and I think he actually dies then.
One thing that I found out after watching it is there is no released recordings of what he talked like.
So we don't know if he actually sounds like that.
Yeah, no. I looked it up too. I was trying to figure. I was like, is this what he sounds like? Because he sounds like so soft and innocent. And I was looking it up, and there's only one known recording that the FBI has never released.
You know what? And I mean, if you think about it, like when you're doing like a lot of research for like movies and things like that, I mean, people have money, you know? And so I think if somebody was to have listened to it, they could have like said, hey, you know, this is kind of what he sounds like. And kind of somebody went off of that.
Yeah.
But like, if you think about it, it does fit in the way of like people thinking he's kind of odd at first, kind of a mama's boy, kind of a wussy, you know? I mean, the cops came knowing that he was at the bar and didn't search the house, didn't ask for an alibi. Like they saw him as a very like soft, wouldn't hurt a fly type person, just like they keep
and people
saying in there.
vouched for,
Yes,
like, yeah, he was that guy from the bar. He was like, yeah, he was here last. Eddie was here, but he would never hurt a fly.
yeah,
And they're like, okay, and they just moved on. I was like, that wouldn't happen today.
it's the quiet ones.
Yeah. And you know what I actually thought was funny? When what's her name? Adeline meets him at the very end again,
Uh-huh.
and she says we're all the same.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. I'm watching this show with a lot of interest while I have 4 or 5 different serial killers pulled up on my computer. I'm like, there's a lot of people. If we were all born back then, we would all be there. I was like, nah, they're not a few anymore. It's all of us.
Also, I didn't like the fact that they did not make her look older.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Is he having another, like, I mean, once they, like, focused a little on her face, like, you could see where they tried to make her look
You
older.
could kind of see that she aged up,
Yeah,
but not enough.
yeah, not enough.
Like, he was an old man,
Yeah, yeah.
and she still kind of looked like 22.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy.
There's actually one thing when he kills the girl in the bar, the woman at the bar. Did you catch the green screen?
No.
There's a few seconds where she hits the ground and it's not blood, it's green.
But I think they did that on purpose.
You think so?
Yes.
Because the next second it's red.
Yes. I think they did that on purpose because if you remember when he's out on the date, I can't remember if it's with Adeline or with the cop's mom. When
That threw me
yeah,
for a
that's
loop.
that's another thing that was like, what? When the waiter's pouring the wine, it's green in 1 second, and then when they go to drink it, it's whatever color wine it was. So I think they did that on purpose, or they really messed up twice.
It's one of two things. They messed up or they did it on purpose, because when he's talking to, I think, the Nazi lady, he admits he doesn't like blood and it makes him sick
Yep. So maybe that's why.
before he switches personalities. So that could make sense. Or I just want to believe Netflix fucked up.
Yeah, well,
That's what they get for raising the prices.
yeah, no, seriously. And the fact that, like, I used to be able to, like, shit, my God, hold on. My thing is going off. Sorry. It was
That's
the
all
time
good.
for, yeah. The fact that I used to be able to, like, share my Netflix with people that were outside of my home. And
Yes,
now
yeah.
they're like, nope, you can't. Are you traveling?
You can now, but they have to check in every like 24 hours or something. I'm like, that's stupid.
It's dumb.
And I used to be able to do that on Discord. They had a party share feature. And when I first started the channel and everything not this channel, when I was with my buddies, we were going to do a movie night, but we couldn't decide what to watch. So, but it was on there as a talking feature.
Cool.
I got to fix something on my side.
I had a cough.
I can't fix it. Oh man, but yeah, that show was good.
Mm-hmm.
While I was watching it, I was eating almost the exact same thing that he likes to eat.
Oh, the pork and beans?
I was eating chili beans with cut up hot dog.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
I was like, oh no, I'm watching this while eating this.
Yeah, no. So I started watching it. During the day, and I was watching it alone, and I was like, this looks interesting. Because anytime like a new serial killer thing comes up, I'm like, I want to watch it. Even though technically he was not a serial killer. He only killed 2 people. Like, yes and no. I mean, that's kind of a series, but Anyway, so I'm watching it and I realized, this is a lot more like complex. And I watched like maybe the first 2 episodes and then, I started doing stuff around the house. And then I was sitting with my partner and we were watching, or we're trying to figure out something to watch. And he's like, "Oh, what's this?" Because, they have the picture of when he's dressed up in the woman's face or whatever. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's a good show. Like, I started watching it, but I don't know if it's something that you want to watch, because I'm, like I said, I'm always the one watching all the documentaries and the serial killer stuff. And he's like, "Okay, well, we'll watch it together." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's start it from the beginning so you can see." And I was finishing up some stuff in the kitchen. And so we started watching it together, kind of. We get to the point where we're both on the same episode. And he starts to realize the depth of the sickness of this show. And I'm a smoker. So, and I usually I'll smoke in the evenings, kind of like a wind down outside thing. And so I'm like getting ready. I'm putting my sweater on because it's cold here already. Putting my sweater on. And he's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to go smoke." And he's like, "You're not going to leave me watching this by myself." And this is a man that likes to watch The Conjuring and those types of movies that we've talked about before that I will not watch. And he's like, "How can you watch this, but you can't watch that?" I'm like, okay, here's the thing. The spiritual stuff, the paranormal stuff that, I'm from Mexico. That shit creeps me the fuck out. Okay? I can watch serial killers because I can see them. I can feel them. I know where one has died, where one is locked up, all of the things. I don't know where that spirit is, So it's like those types of things for me.
Yeah.
And so, so he turned it off, put something else on, and we've gradually kind of watched it together until the very end. And he's just blown away. I'm like, that's half of the stuff that I watch. Yeah. So he was not impressed. But the whole eating thing, he didn't realize that was the bowl that he had.
Oh yeah, when he's like, "Where's my special bowl?"
Yeah, he didn't realize it until I pointed it out. I was like, "Do you know what that is?" And he's like, "Yeah, a bowl, like a wood bowl." I'm like, "Oh no,
Not.
looks like a wood bowl, but that is not a wood bowl." And then he realized it, and he's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, like I was watching, I was like that. I was looking at it, I was like, that doesn't look like a regular bowl. Like, don't tell me. As soon as he pulled it out, I was like, that's the top of a skull.
"Yep,
Yeah, and
his favorite bowl."
I grew up in a Mexican household, and I'm familiar with all sides of the spiritual and then serial killers because I just been fascinated by both. My aunt in Mexico did exorcisms and things like that, so I'm very familiar. But the things that get me are things that could plausibly happen without me knowing. So on the spiritual side, it always takes time because it has to drain your energy. So I'm fine with that. Make me tired. I don't care. I'm tired all the time. I just don't want to be walking down the street and then I'm just gone.
Right.
So I understand where he's coming from. Because, like I said, spiritual side takes time. Serial killers,
They're just taking you out.
they're just there.
Yep.
That's why for me, I love watching the Conjuring universe, but I hate watching Final Destination. Those movies, I love them. I'll watch them anytime. But the second I leave my house, I start looking around.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
I get that concept. I do. It's just with me, it's if it's something let's say, somebody, something or someone is going to take me out, right? If it's a serial killer or like a killer in general or somebody like that I can see and feel and touch and all of the things, I'm gonna put up a fight.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, like physically, you know. But when it comes to like something taking me out in the spiritual sense, I can't see that. I can't like see it coming. I mean, they say you can feel it, but you honestly have to have that trait of like being able to sense those things too. So there's also that for me.
Yes.
But I get what you're saying. Like a serial killer or like a killer in general is just going to take you out in that moment.
Yeah, and a lot of times they catch people off guard.
Mhm.
There's never really fights in a lot of serial killers.
Yeah.
But I just thought of something. For the Final Destination, I actually had something like that at my house.
Oh, like a barbecue thing?
Similar. Well, not barbecue, but an instant death scenario.
What?
Yeah, so right outside my back door, there's a giant pecan tree.
Okay.
And there was a giant ass branch that had died and just was hanging there.
Uh-huh.
And I tied a rope around it. I couldn't pull it down. I was like, that thing's gonna take somebody out. And it wasn't a small branch, it was a huge branch that had broken off and just got stuck up there. I was like, one day I'm just gonna step out and it's gonna fall. And it happened one day before I went outside. I heard it, and it just hit the concrete and broke. I was like, if I would have gone out like 30 minutes earlier, that would have been me.
Yep. Yeah, it happens.
I got pictures of it somewhere of the branch because it wasn't small.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, that could have been any time.
Yeah. It's scary. Scary, scary stuff. But so Ted Bundy comes up at the end of Ed.
Yes.
That
And
was the fact that he's the reason that put him away. And I watched that like a part of some documentary where they talk about the, you know, the secret tip or whatever, the anonymous tip. It's crazy to find out that that's what it was.
well, I was looking it up, and there is no known thing that says that I was him.
Really?
Yeah, so that could be made up. But like I said, there's very few recordings or any interactions that have come
Yeah.
out. And most likely it's not public, but it's sealed by the government.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, but that was just them taking liberties.
Yeah.
But there have been other serial killers that help catch other serial killers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
What I liked was where they show everyone that took the Ed Gein thing and then went and made movies. So
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock with Psycho, and then Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There were so many, and they should have hinted at Jason Voorhees. I think so.
Because of the mother thing?
Yes, because that was his drive at the beginning, was that he wanted to be his mother's favorite. So
Didn't he have a brother?
yes, he had a brother.
Yeah.
His brother did die from asphyxiation, is what they called it in real life. There was a fire, and that's how he supposedly died. So that's another thing where they don't know if he killed his brother or not.
Yeah, they should have hinted at that. That's true.
Especially towards the end when he's looking up at the ceiling and you hear like kill them all.
Because Jason heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching it and I was like, are they going to hint at Friday the 13th? But they never did. I was like, oh man, that would have been great.
I wonder if maybe they didn't get
Permission?
yeah.
They probably would have had to get all the permission from them. Alfred Hitchcock was probably public record by then with
Mm-hmm.
how many years it's been since he's died.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many movies that bring up the whole thing with the Psycho movie.
Yeah.
There's that show that was made, right? There's a show that was made off of that.
Yes, there was.
Yeah. I never watched it.
Bates Hotel.
Yeah.
I never saw it either. It never caught my attention.
I know. It didn't look, I don't know.
It didn't look like it could have been.
Right.
I think it
But
only
who
lasted
knows?
for like two seasons though.
Yeah. Probably for a reason.
Yeah. Bates Motel, 5 seasons.
Well,
Shit.
look at us being uneducated.
Yeah, I never watched it. It could have still been on, and I still would have been like, I have no fucking clue. 2 seasons sounds right.
Yeah, right?
No, 5 fucking seasons.
Jeez.
Speaking of seasons, have you ever watched American Horror Story?
Okay, see here. Let's talk about that.
Because that goes on both spiritual and serial killers.
Yes. So I tried.
Which one?
I went in on the first season.
Okay.
Like I tried from the beginning.
Never watched the first season.
It did catch my eye, and I was like, okay, this, something that I would enjoy. However, during that time, obviously my kids were a lot younger, so I literally had to like wait to watch it, and it was mostly at night, and the spiritual ones kind of got me. I think it was the one episode where something going on with the bathtub in some like scary house. I can't remember. You never watched the first season, so you might not have seen.
Just the first season's not for everyone.
Okay, yeah. And so, yeah, it was, I do remember it was definitely like a spirit type situation. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not watching this. And then, like I said, I go outside at night. And so I'm just kind of like looking around, and I'm like, I'm not relaxing whatsoever. So I gave that up, and I know that there has been more season. I think it's still going, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And so
they're on season 12.
I do want to go get into it, but I just haven't. I think it's on Hulu, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. So I might start checking that out.
Depends on what you like. I would recommend the season with the witches or the season with the circus, because that kind of separates it into both serial killer and paranormal.
Okay.
Now they do kind of merge a little bit, but not too much, because the circus one, there is like they do a Halloween episode, so that one is kind of paranormal. But the witches one is pretty much all paranormal.
Okay, cool.
So, but like I said, it just depends on what you want to watch.
I'm gonna add it to my watch list.
I can't remember what last season I watched, because I used to watch them every year, but I haven't recently, so I don't even know where I left off. I can't remember what my favorite episode was my favorite one.
Okay.
I didn't like the one with Lady Gaga in it. That one was Hotel. That one was all right.
Oh, she was on I don't know if you watched it, but Wednesday. Did you watch Wednesday?
Yes.
She was on there for like a split second.
I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, she was the ghost lady. I don't remember what the hell they called her, but the one that she like tried to invoke or talk to or whatever.
Yeah.
That was Lady Gaga.
I'll have to watch that then.
Yeah, I had to Google it. I was like, that doesn't look like her. But then again, like Lady Gaga's always dressed up and weird looking, so it doesn't really matter.
I think I quit watching season 11. Yeah. So, but I like watching Wednesday too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like little kid scary for me. But who am I to talk? Because I don't watch too many scary things anyway.
I watch all horror. If it's a horror based genre, I will watch it.
There's what about, what's the word? Like end of the world type things. Like God, what was that show? I stopped watching it because my favorite person died.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I never liked The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It was good, but it was way too slow.
I could see
And
that.
it's not that that's a bad thing, but whenever they did have the zombies in, it just wasn't where it could have been.
Yeah.
But I do like the way they depicted the zombies, which is more realistic to what it would actually be if that wherever possible, because decay would happen over time.
Right. Right.
So, have you ever watched The Crazies?
I think I did. That sounds really familiar.
It came out in 2010.
The Crazies. I think I did. I don't remember much of it, but I'm pretty sure I did.
That one is a military plane or something crashes into the water supply, and it leaks a virus that makes
Yes.
everyone
Yes. Yes.
just go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that I like that one. That one's I like those because that's a what if that might happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but that one didn't get a lot of attention. But I liked it though. It goes along the same lines of what's that one with Pedro?
Oh, I know what you're talking.
All of us.
The show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
all of us.
Yeah, my sister told me about that one, but she also said that it was kind of like a little bit slow. But I don't know. She's also very into like paranormal type stuff. Like she'll sit there and like you play The Conjuring on the background just for fun.
Yeah, I have it. I used to have it all the time. But the only reason I brought up that one was because it's plausible. The Last of Us, that's what it's called. Can't believe I forgot what it's called. But you know why that one's more plausible?
Why?
Because the mushrooms that infect people are real.
Great.
They're called cordyceps. The same as the show. And
Okay.
right now they only affect bugs.
Yes, I think that's what she was saying.
But all it takes is that little evolutionary leap to go to mammals. But in the like the way they work is they attack the nervous system of ants and spiders, and they make them go like the top of trees so they could spread the spores. So it wouldn't be like zombies. It'd be like random people climbing up to the top of a tree just for the spores to go everywhere.
Yeah.
But it would infect a lot of people very fast. Just because it's airborne.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading on it and it's apparently people with
Cordyceps.
crazy.
Yeah, because as of now, the human body can fight it.
Yeah, I
But
guess
people with
some
weak immune
athletes
systems,
take it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's mushrooms.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and start talking about Gary Ridgway and Ted Bundy. Like I said, these conversations go everywhere.
Let's see. I was trying to like look at like similarities and things like that. I find that one of the things that they did most was like definitely targeted young women.
Yes.
Not so much like same profiles as women, but they were all young. So like, vulnerable.
I think it was like college.
Yeah, college students. Definitely middle class. And they were, well, at least Bundy really looked for attractive women.
Yeah,
Like,
he had a profile.
definitely. Ridgway was more like around sex workers and homeless people.
People that wouldn't be missed.
Yeah, that's why a lot of to this day, I was a couple of years ago, they took him out there again to like his burial sites or dump sites, however you want to look at it. And he showed them around where other bodies would be. And he actually said, kind of in a joking manner of like, you'll never know how many are actually out there. So, I mean, there's a lot of missing women in the area. I'm sure some of them belong to his
His
like
kill
victim
count.
list. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. There's a lot, especially in that time frame.
Yeah, because if they were homeless or sex workers, no one would have missed them. And there's a lot of cases where that's the profile
Oh yeah.
because they're not missed. And the only reason they're missed is because they become friends with either another sex worker that becomes concerned, or families find like we haven't heard from them in like 10 years. They at least drop us a line every year. And other than that, they're not really known. But yeah, like one of the things they had in common was they both had that normal guy image, which to me goes along the same lines of you don't know who's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys that were on the show that they depicted, like, yeah, that guy's a serial killer. Like, what was his name? That guy that I don't even know how to word this.
The shoes guy?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, that guy's a serial killer.
Oh, you could tell. Even I don't know if you watched any of his documentaries, but even looking at his actual picture, you could tell.
Yeah.
Like he has one of those faces. Like, I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah,
kind
no.
of face.
The things that he described, I was like, God.
Yeah.
And when they gave him the shoes, I was like, please don't. Don't
Yeah.
give him the fucking
He's like,
shoes.
please excuse me for a second. Let me just take care of business real quick.
I was like, why are y'all still in there?
God, yeah.
If I was that FBI agent, I would have walked out. Like, let me give you some time.
what was his name? John Wayne Gacy.
That was the killer clown.
Yes, but that's the guy.
That wasn't the guy.
I'm pretty sure that was the guy.
That's it.
Here.
Got it right here. Ed Kemper. No, Jerry Brudos.
I got
I
carried
got
away
Richard
with the
Speck,
Gacy.
Charles Manson, Ed Kemper, and Jerry Brudos. Those were the serial killers in the show. Richard Speck was a weird one.
Yeah, that was a fun watch.
The Birdman, that was something else. I think out of all the stuff that I watched, I think the Richard Speck stuff was the only stuff I was like, I shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, no. I looked at some of the because I looked him up and I was looking at some of the like confession tapes and stuff for him.
Yeah.
And he's just like in the movie. He's very like nonchalant about what he did.
Yeah. A lot of those guys were.
Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying is like they're very like the movie, I think the series rather, I think it did pretty good. A lot of the stuff checks out. And although it's great for it to be shown as much as it did, like they were pretty brutally honest on what was going on and what happened. I personally think that it could come with a little bit of a trigger warning.
Yes.
Because not everybody can, because like for instance, my son, I have a 21-year-old son, and he has watched, a lot, like what's this other kid's name? One of the other monster series that they did. Dahmer,
yes.
and he's watched that and some, other stuff. And he asked me about that one. And I was like, yeah, probably don't have your baby around when you're watching it. And maybe just know that there's a lot of very, very gross and bad things on there. Like,
I haven't
watch
seen
at
Dahmer.
your own discretion. No, not Dahmer. I'm talking about the Ed Gein one.
Oh, the Ed Gein one, yeah.
Yeah. Dahmer, they didn't show as much. It was more left to the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to watch that one this week.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny because now my partner's watching that one.
There's a lot of good stuff out there for serial killer stuff.
Goodness. Anywho, so Richard Speck. I definitely want to find like a actual documentary on him. He wasn't very fun to watch on the movie, but I think he'd be fun to kind of like look into and see what went on there.
Yeah, he was just a mass murderer.
Crazy. Well, there were student nurses.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. See, I was picturing he like it was an actual like hospital or like a clinic where it was just like actual nurses, but this he kind of went.
No, it was a college.
Yeah, I see where he was going with the whole Ted Bundy idolizing him.
And that's crazy that he was receiving letters, but he was like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want their attention. The people whose attention I do want, they're not writing me.
Right.
And that kind of part, like there, it kind of shows that the medication was working, and he was trying to figure everything out.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's why I said, like, when he actually realized and like started to understand what was happening to him, I think for even a split second, for like his regular self, there was that sense of guilt and remorse.
To a certain level.
Yeah. Because then, like it was clicked in on and off, which, ultimately is what messes with people that have that disease or condition, I should say, not disease. But do we know I don't know if I looked that up, but do we know if Ted Bundy had any sort of like actual diagnosis?
I think he did, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I don't think that the whole thing with him like representing himself, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. But if he's representing himself, I don't think that he would have used a diagnosis for himself.
Yeah, there
right?
was a few diagnoses on him,
Okay, yeah, I'm looking.
but none of them that could stop him
Right.
from
Yeah,
pleading insanity and anything. Yeah.
it's just personality stuff, and he knew he was a narcissist. He knew he had all that stuff going on. Yeah.
Those kinds of things where there's narcissistic personalities or psychopathy, those are dangerous combinations
Oh yeah.
because it also shows that like it will not shows, but it puts a stigma on people that kind of suffer from similar things,
Mm-hmm.
but not the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it? Schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time had that stigma that if you have this, you're a killer or a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a fractured mind thing. And it wasn't until recently that it started being paid more attention to. I can't remember when it was, but I know growing up, I saw a commercial for schizophrenia. And I haven't seen it ever since, but it was talking about it.
It was I think it was when they did a campaign, I want to say in the 90s, about normalizing mental health. So there was a huge campaign. There was like money thrown into that. And it was pretty much the only surge that there was until recently when they started with the crisis line. Those are the only two major campaigns that mental health has had in the last however many decades. It's like, basically education and normalizing like mental health situations.
Yes.
And then recently, with all the suicides, the 988 number to text. That's it. Which is insane to me.
Well, there's still that big stigma about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because everything that's happened from then to now, there shouldn't be a stigma about it.
Exactly.
I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like that was the only time I ever saw it. I think I saw it once at the movies. And it was just an ad, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever saw it ever again.
Probably not. It was
But
a
it-
one-time thing.
I think you are right with all the documentaries coming out, the Netflix specials, especially there's been a surge of them, especially right now because it's October. They should have a disclaimer.
They should definitely something.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure once a good number of people see it and say something about it, they're gonna add something.
Yeah, they're gonna add something.
Yeah, because
Well,
it's very out there.
yeah, especially because it's more. I want to say recent, but it's more here because that wasn't recent. It was like in the 50s.
Yeah,
But there's been so many killers since then.
yeah. There's
The craziest serial killer that I think is out there, or that was out there, was the one that would check people's doors.
you told me about that.
I can't remember what his name was, but he would go around, and that's how he would pick his victims.
That's
If your
scary.
door wasn't locked, that was his invitation to come in. If the door was locked, he'd just move on. The worst part for me, I constantly leave my doors unlocked when I'm home, but I also have 3 dogs. The second anyone gets, yes, Richard Chase. But the second anyone
Also,
gets near my
Richard
door,
Ramirez.
people knock out. My dogs go crazy the second anyone comes onto my yard.
Yeah, I have a cat.
I mean, cats are dangerous too, but they're not warning signs.
Yeah, I know.
Cats are assholes.
They are. They really are. And see, the thing about me is I was never a cat person. I actually despised cats. And I ended up during the pandemic, my daughter was in between middle school going into high school. No, she was going in 8th grade or something. It was a very traumatic time for her. And I got her a cat. She really wanted a cat. And then that cat was by himself. So I got a second cat. And those two have been with us since then. They ended up not liking her. And so she got a bunny. Then the bunny died. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But now she has one of the cats. I have one of the cats, and yeah. But I was never a cat person, but now I can't get away from them as he's looking at me talking about them.
They know.
They do. Now that we're kind of talking a little bit about cats, with the paranormal stuff, have you ever, I know that supposedly they have some sort of spiritual connection. Have you ever looked into that or talked about that or saw anything
No, I
about
have not talked about it, but I have looked into it.
what have you found?
There's always been that cats are more in tune with that, especially going back to the Egyptian times, because they were tied directly to the gods. Same thing with dogs. That goes back to the Aztec theology, because they were not, I don't want to say tied to the gods, but for the Aztecs, they were sent to us to guide us to the afterlife.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people believe that animals have that ability. They've always been revered as closer to the gods and the afterlife than anyone else.
Okay.
On like the scientific paranormal side, their the way their eyes work can detect things that we cannot. They have extra conical systems in their eyes that allows them to detect up to infrared, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they because there's there's like a saying of like they can see what or they can see the stuff that you can't see or that's not there or something like along those lines. And they do be like looking past you at something or like staring at something that's not really there.
Yeah, yeah. That also goes because they're assholes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like, I see a bunch of videos where there's cats and dogs just staring at corners. I'd be like, nah, it's time to go. Like here at my house, I have an attic, but there's nothing up there. And my 3 dogs have never done anything weird at my old house where I used to live, there was actual shadow people there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. But my dogs never reacted negatively.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like I have like it's a funny story, but like looking back, like I'm pretty sure something was there. But so me and my daughter were sitting at the kitchen table, right? And we're both like scrolling on our phones, just looking down, not really like interacting with each other. And we hear something in the corner fall, like it was loud. And we both look up, look at each other, look over. We see the cats are nowhere near where that thing fell. And we look back at each other and we just kind of shrug our shoulders and look back down on our phones and keep doing our thing and just start laughing because we're both in that sense of like, we're not going to give it attention and freak out right now because obviously something's going on over there. And we're just like, I didn't hear anything. So, and that's what I've done. Like, whenever I have had situations of like, if I feel like some sort of negative energy or, something falls or I hear a noise, I'm just like, it's nothing. I think that helps me overcome that.
Rationalize it.
Yes, exactly.
There's there was one time at my old house where I was in the backyard. My cousin came over and he saw someone walk in front of the door. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, why'd you walk past the door and didn't open it?" I was like, "Dude, I'm in the backyard." And he told me like, "No, I saw someone walk by." I was like, "I'm home alone, man. There's no one here."
There's another story that I have of, so I'm gonna disclose this. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal anymore. But so I've been sober for 12 years.
Congratulations.
July. Thank you. July was 12 years. And at the beginning of my sobriety, I lived in this 3-bedroom apartment. And it was the type where you walk in and there's the kitchen and the living room, and then there's a long hallway for the bedrooms. And so I was sitting in the living room with my then husband, my ex-husband, and me and him were basically at the end of it, splitting up. We're just kind of like, it was just not working out. And I thought that it was like a way to scare me, but he swears up and down that one day he was like getting ready to leave or something, and he saw like a girl, like a little girl standing in the hallway. And like he thought it was my daughter because about the same size, but they were at school. And so he told me about that. And I just chucked it up to like, okay, he's just trying to scare me because of what we're going through or whatever. But then but I didn't feel, when somebody tells you a scary story or something like that, you feel that little like in the back of your neck or like that feeling of fear. I didn't feel that. And so I told one of my cousins, and my uncle happened to be there who's also recovering. And again, this is at the beginning, like this is months into my sobriety.
Yeah.
And so I talked to him. He's in Mexico, and he told me, he's like, you know what? He's like, those are the spirits and the demons that you're letting go of right now. And I was like, don't tell me. But it makes sense because he's like, they're staring at you. Like they're staring at you. One could be that, they're admiring the fact that you're doing better, or they're pissed off.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes on how you take it. But I didn't feel any type of fear or any type of situation where like I felt unsafe in the apartment. I ended up living there for a couple of years. So I had just moved in. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, it's always been something that has happened secondhand, or I try not to pay attention to it so it doesn't mess with me. It's my fear of the paranormal.
I was actually going to say something similar because you said it was towards the beginning of your sobriety. I was thinking the exact same thing you said, that it's probably letting go of something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what he was saying. It's like, he's like, it's the demons that want to keep you in that place. And, they're just watching you let go. And it makes sense.
It really does.
I haven't, like, I went through like a lot of hard stuff. I never really had like a situation where I'm like, I really need a drink or anything like that. And I think it was because at the very beginning, it was a whole like life altering. Like I stopped, like I cut so many, like my friend circle is literally, I can count it in my hand. That's how big of a wipe I made.
Yeah.
And so I think that really, really helped. But yeah, definitely. The demons were trying to keep me in.
Like I said earlier, demons, possession, all that stuff takes time to break them down. And the second they realized you were getting stronger, they couldn't do anything.
Breathe.
I had something in my eye. Yeah, I've never had to do anything like that. I've been close, but I don't know why. Just me, I kind of just walk away from stuff.
Good.
So I've just
You mentioned something earlier that I kind of wanted to see if you wanted to elaborate on. You mentioned that your aunt does or did exorcisms.
Yes.
Were you ever around?
No.
Okay.
She lived in Mexico or on the border,
Okay.
and I've always lived in the Dallas area. But I would visit always. She'd tell me the stories and some of the things that she's done, but I was never there for any of it.
Okay.
I would have loved to.
Those are probably very interesting stories.
I think my favorite one that she told me was there was, I want to say her son or her cousin was being plagued by shadow people, like dark demons, and they were going to have a baby. So she was going to go do a cleansing at the house. And she just got her car back from the shop. Everything's fixed. There's nothing wrong with this car. And as she's driving, it doesn't want to go. Like, it's trying to die on her. The car is not wanting to work. She told me that she put her hand on the dashboard and started praying. And every time she would pray, the car would go forward. I was like, that's insane. I was like, they're stopping you. They don't want you to get to the house. But she made it there, did a cleansing, and everything was fine. I think she said that they found her cousin in a corner. I think it was her cousin in a corner, and he was surrounded by like 4 or 5 different dark spirits.
It's always in a corner. I remember like this one of my grandma's neighbors, she actually ended up being my aunt's mother-in-law, but I remember cuz I lived in Mexico when I was younger. And I remember being in her kitchen. It was like around Christmas time, and the lady, she made fireworks and sold them, on out on the banqueta, like the street. And she was telling us a story one day, that she was in her kitchen, and like in the corner of the kitchen she saw like a bad spirit, and that's what she did. It's like she stopped what she was doing, she like kneeled down and started praying until it like basically disappeared or withered away, is how she described it. And like me as a child, right, I'm picturing like the worst thing ever in the world in this corner, and I'm in the lady's kitchen. And so it's like stories like that that make me scared of the spirit type stuff. And yeah, I was just like, why would you tell me this story as I'm right here? Oh, but yeah, it's the whole praying thing. They say like, what is the expression? Like when what's the sleep paralysis, but they in Spanish, like they say,
Yeah.
yeah, that praying or like even like bad talking the spirits will help you get rid of them. But if I'm in that situation, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm just, please get off.
I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
My daughter used to sleepwalk. That reminded me of that. And she wasn't like normal sleepwalking stuff, like go about your normal day shit. No, it was more like what was that movie? It was a real big movie. I can't remember what it's called. Paranormal Activity.
Oh, right. Yeah.
How she stood up and just stood there with her
Yeah.
hair covering her face, just staring at the bed.
Yeah.
My daughter would do that.
Yeah.
That
No.
exact same shit. But she would stand in my doorway and just stare at me.
Yeah.
I
See,
just
my
rolled
daughter
over.
would got knocked out a couple times.
I just rolled over, covered up, and went back to bed. I was like, I'm not dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
I die. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how I could deal with that.
While we were talking about the diagnosis stuff, I looked up Gary Ridgway, and he was also a functional psychopath.
Of course.
So that's another thing they had in common.
Functional psychopath.
He
That's a
claimed,
scary term.
yeah, it is. He claimed that murdering women was his career, and that he found it addictive.
Hmm.
It's one hell of a job title. He was a truck painter, a father, husband, all around a good guy until he went out at night.
Yeah, that's scary.
And they all had the nice guy facade.
Well, they always do. They got to figure out a way to lower somebody, right? And so that's why, like, me personally, just because of all the things that I watch, I don't I don't fall for the nice guy bullshit when it
Yeah,
comes to, you know. I mean, you could be a legitimate nice guy, but I'd rather take the chance of like being an asshole and like tell you to fuck off than to like get killed, you know? So, yeah.
like that scene in Ed Gein where I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ted Bundy or one of the other killers, but he was like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" And that other girl was like, "No, we're leaving."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "That's probably a good decision."
Yeah. My goodness.
And Ed Gein, when he was the nice guy at the very beginning, I was like, "Man, those other girls are assholes. He's just talking."
Yeah, no, they did. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Very true.
And see, here I thought that Adeline was gonna be the type to I mean she kind of did use him because she did have also some issues,
Yes.
and he was the one doing all of the crimes and she was benefiting from it.
Yes. A lot.
And so I think that she used them in that sense, but I like the way that it all started. I thought she was going to use him in the way of like, he's the nice guy. I'm just going to like take advantage and like lead him on. But she actually like went with him
Yeah.
and like
Kind of
actually
encouraged it.
encouraged it. Yeah, and actually wanted to be with this guy.
I think the only thing that stopped her is that he didn't want to leave the town.
Yeah. I think she wanted to be like out there killing, out there
Yeah.
doing. And he was like, not without mother.
That whole thing was just crazy. He's like, whenever he talked to her, I'm like, there's something,
Yeah, definitely.
there's a lot not there.
Like, there's one thing, like, you know, when you lose a loved one, there's one thing to like talk to them and ask them for guidance or whatever the thing might be, you know, like show me the way kind of thing. But like he had full on conversations and answered himself and put a dead body in the place of his mother.
Yes. I mean, she did guide him on how to sew the chair.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But I on the diagnosis side, I like how when the guy for was making the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he described the fractured personalities, and that kind of put it all into perspective onto how he really was.
Yeah.
Because when he goes after those two hunters in in
Hmm.
the woods, I mean, he puts on the mask
Yeah.
because he's changing into a different personality. That's why whenever he did the polygraph test or whenever he was asked about it, he was like, I don't remember
Right.
because it wasn't in his mind, it wasn't him.
Yeah. It's a funny way of like a person with multiple personalities to have that actual transition. On the inside, obviously, you transition into your other personality, but you need that outside validation
To
in a way.
reflect it.
Yes.
For him, it was the mask.
Yeah. And if you look at it, like he did a lot of stuff and he would look in the mirror.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
he would look in the mirror when he put the mask on, when he was doing like the all of the different things, like he would just it almost looked like he was making sure that it wasn't him.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, which is that's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
That oversimplification that Texas Chainsaw Massacre did, it was a lot more accurate than I thought it would be. But it was still just a very oversimplified version of what was wrong with him. And watching the transition from his mind going from he didn't recognize it to the doctor telling him and him slowly piecing it together. But he still never remembered that he did it. But he accepted that things happened around him.
I think it's because he started realizing that he was talking to himself.
Yes, yes,
So I think once he realized that he was having those conversations with himself and being multiple people, and he like honestly believed that he was talking, to the transsexual person, to the captain lady,
yeah.
like he
That
actually thought he was talking. And so I think that clicked in his mind like, holy shit, all of
it
the other stuff that
is
I
me.
thought was me.
Yeah,
Like, and I think the realization of that, along with the medication and all the things that he was like, I mean, in all honesty, like he was in treatment
yes,
during his realization. So I think like that ultimately helped him, like he said in the end, he actually did something for the world,
yes,
whether you want to look at it in the dark end or the light end. Like the dark end, yeah, you basically molded a lot of other killers, to be honest, but also you put a spotlight on what to look for, what to stay away from, and like in the representation of the movies. Like that was a good thing for obviously filmmakers, the economy, and during that moment. Like, so there's good things about it, and obviously there's the dark part around it as well.
yeah. There was a lot that came from him. What I find interesting is when the nurse gave him his cancer diagnosis, and he's like, "I know." I was like, "Wait, like he knows he's sick," but then he was like, "Alfred Hitchcock died today, and I didn't get any money." I was like, he recognized everything that's come from him.
From him. Yeah.
That to me was like he knows what he started and the effect it had on people.
He did a lot without really doing much. I mean,
Yeah,
it goes back to like kind of like people like us that look into things like that, right? Like we look at it, we analyze it, I sometimes obsess on certain things and I'm like, I need to know more. Like, where did this
yeah,
come from? How did they live as a child? Like all of the things that come with it, right? And then There's people that take it the other way, where it's not just curiosity to know, like it's more like, how did you do it?
Yes.
How did you get away with it? And I think that's a lot of, like, for instance, this Richard guy that was really into what he did, and then it trickled down to Ted Bundy, and I'm sure since Ted, it's just kept going. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely more stuff out there. Thankfully, it's a lot harder nowadays with technology, and you can't just disappear somebody without a trace for the most part.
Yeah. From the show, there was Richard Speck, Charles Manson, Ed Kemper, and Jerry Brudos. Those are 4 serial killers that are well known, just directly based off of Ed Gein. Because the FBI agents in the show were like, we talked to a lot of other serial killers, and they all credit their start to Ed Gein, which to me is like,
Ed Kemper guy. Oh yeah. Okay.
that's fascinating, because now you got one person that started four very famous serial killers,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there, Richard Speck inspired Ted Bundy,
Mm-hmm.
and then Charles Manson had a whole cult following.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that
That
Charles
guy.
Manson is a very unique individual.
He's another one that has the look.
Yeah. Well, not really, because there's this whole back theory behind it that he was never crazy. And there's a lot of diagnosis, there's a lot of analysis over him where it's conflicting arguments, where he was a struggling musician that just lost his mind, or he was undiagnosed with such and such. But one common thing that a lot of people have was that he was very smart. And I think he played into it, because he knew what to do. He knew he could talk to people. He knew how to talk to people and convince people, which is why he was a cult leader.
That's true.
And he didn't start looking crazy until he went to prison. So I think he was just playing the part to further delay executions or any further cases against him. Because even when he was in prison, he talked to a few different like women outside, and he married one of them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't he wasn't crazy. They were keeping him away. He was crazy to the public eye from whenever they showed him.
Yeah.
But then behind closed doors, the lady that married him was like super in love with him, and he was the nicest person in the world, and all, she always said all these great things about him. But whenever he came in front of the camera, he just looked batshit crazy.
That makes sense though. Especially like when it comes to, like these manipulative type personalities. And if he's the type of person that doesn't have any sort of remorse or things like that, there's like people out there that actually believe, a cult leader would be a perfect example, that they are above everybody else. And so, like, I could see where you say that, like, him playing into the part is going to make him kind of up one everybody else, right? And like, haha, you think I'm crazy, I'm gonna make you think I'm crazy, and then get away with whatever I can. That's one person that I haven't looked into as much, just because there's so much out there. I know I do remember seeing some documentary on, like, quote unquote cult survivors, but I feel like a lot of those people that were on that weren't really part of it.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
gonna
they
share
just
my screen real quick.
okay.
So this one right here Like the first one is 1969. So that was during right before the 70s. And he was a hippie. But he doesn't look crazy. And then 1970s, he kind of still he looks more put together, but still kind of a hippie. And it wasn't until 71 when he really got caught that he started getting that crazy look in his eye.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like every
true.
other picture that has him in it, where he's not in prison, he looks like just a regular guy on the street.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then whenever you see like mugshots,
Even that
the
first mugshot, the third one on the bottom, he looks normal.
yeah. And what was it? This one is 86, I think. That's when he made that huge transformation into like I'm a crazy guy.
And
And
like would
then
scream at the cameras and
yeah,
stuff like that
yeah.
whenever he saw them. Yeah.
So I always thought like, was he really crazy? Or was this just like
Playing it
how
off.
he protected himself?
Yeah. That's
I
very
don't know. Because
true.
like I said, there's a lot of analysis and a lot of people that have studied him because he's a very fascinating case. Like personally, I think he played the part. The eccentric cult leader that got caught.
Yeah.
And he gave the camera what they wanted whenever they did interviews. Like, oh, I'm a crazy guy, so he do crazy stuff. But then like 2 seconds later, he'd be answering the questions very articulate and be able to hold these very amazing conversations. And then he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be the crazy guy. And then he'd jump up and do some crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I said, I've always thought that he wasn't crazy. He was just playing the part that he thought people wanted to see and that would best suit him. And it worked because even in prison, he still had a cult following. He had
Oh
people
yeah.
writing him letters and it just kept growing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that even like looking at his Wikipedia page, like I've seen government type stuff that's a lot shorter than his page.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot on him.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna look more into it because, like I said, I mean, I've seen all the like main media type stuff on him. I want to look like deeper
Yeah.
and see what was going on there.
I was looking for my drink. I was like, I just threw it away because it was empty.
Have you tried those Waterloos? They're also a sparkling soda.
Yes.
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah, they're all right. My mini fridge is full of liquid death.
Oh right, right,
I got the pictures on the wall and I got one or two more cases left.
nice.
But there's Charles Manson is his own episode. There's too much on him. But all the others that were inspired directly by Ed Gein, they're all very fascinating. Jerry Brudos is the only one that's kind of weird on that list. Richard Speck, he didn't show any remorse, and he was just kind of crazy on it. But Jerry Brudos is the one that got me the most. I was like, him in his shoes.
Yeah, very interesting. And the fact that he says, like, all I wanted was the shoes.
Yeah.
Like, go buy some. The fuck?
Yeah. When they show him the shoes, they're like, are they my size? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you got some big ass feet, dude.
Yeah.
I would have been like, just be happy with what they gave you. But with how dismissive he was, with like, oh, what does he collect? Oh, body parts? Oh, I used to do that. I was like, what is that, beginner level shit for you?
Yeah, right? He was very, like, it was about taking possession.
Yes. With all of them, that is the main running line. And well, not with Ed Gein, but with like Ted Bundy, Richard Speck, Gary, all of them, it's the same running theme that they
Mm-hmm.
just wanted the possession, the
Yeah.
power, the control. And even with Gacy, it was on the same level.
Yeah.
And
It's funny that like that came up with the whole like, taking possession or like forcibly like taking a woman. I don't know. Like, okay, so when you talk about, for instance, there's two scenarios, we'll put it this way. Somebody comes in to your home and assaults you, ends up killing you, right?
Yeah.
It's a man on a man, right? And then there's like, for instance, me, somebody comes into my home, a dude assaults me and ultimately kills me. There's a thing, and I don't know if you've read too much about that, but like in Mexico, there's homicide, and then there's the
homicide.
feminicidio, which is like a woman directed homicide.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I was watching yesterday, the episode with the forensic doctor, is that's what he talks about. It's the fact that like a man will, when they kill a woman, because there's the whole thing of like, well, men get killed just as much in Mexico. Yeah, but like there's more to it when a man kills a woman, because it's the whole machismo thing, it's the overpowering thing.
Yes. It's the control.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of that's why when it comes to serial killers, even when they are women, it's always a power struggle. It's always a I'm better than you. I did
Situation.
this to you. Yeah. And it's always a power thing when it comes to that. And so I just think it's interesting that there's only certain places that look at it from that perspective. In Mexico, it's a big thing, even though it gets fought every day of
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's just homicide. It's not a sex thing. Yes, it is.
I've covered that like 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when I do serial killers, when I talk about serial killers in Mexico, that's the main subject line is always femicide.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all the research that I do, everything that I look up, all the serial killers, well, not all of them, but the majority of them in Mexico or in Latin speaking countries, it's mainly femicide. It's the direct line. It's mainly femicide. And there's a couple serial killers that have been caught that just kill random people because they were the wrong place, wrong time kind of situation. But 90% of my research is always women. There was a power struggle, there was some kind of dynamic that they wanted to establish, and that was their target.
Yeah.
One guy was obsessed with the girl and he got rejected and he killed like 5 other women that were similar to the girl that rejected him. So there was his power dynamic.
That's insane.
And his was an interesting case. I can't remember which. I did an episode not too long about it, but if I remember correctly, he attempted to. Or no, he didn't attempt. He killed another woman, and the dad found out, and tried to confront him, and he kills the dad too. So Mexico doesn't have a death penalty anymore. So he gets like 100 and something years in prison, and he only serves 50, less than that, and he becomes a lawyer. So once he gets out, he's a successful lawyer. He's a successful lawyer. And Mexico's like, the government was like, see, our reform works. He went from serial killer to a lawyer. I was like, if I go and get a lawyer and I find out he was a serial killer, one of two things. He's either going to represent me, or if I say something wrong, I'm never seeing that lawyer again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know what you're capable of. But that to me was one of the most fascinating cases, that he went into prison and I think he was accredited as like the Mexican Hannibal Lecter, or the motivation or the inspiration for Hannibal Lecter. And he served his time or got out early and then became a lawyer. And he practiced a successful like career for a long time after that.
Alfredo Trevino.
Yes.
That's another one to look into. Yeah, the one that the forensic doctor was because I literally just listened to this podcast yesterday. That he was talking about, he compared him to Ted Bundy because it was kind of similar. Like he didn't come out and become a lawyer or any of that, or become a lawyer while he was in prison or anything like that. But he was a cop, and so the way that the story comes up for him is that they ask him, what was the worst thing that you've had to go and testify about, and he's like, well, covered a lot of femicide and things like that, but this particular victim was 7 years old, and there's all of the previous bruising and things like that, all the abuse that she had, and then the fact that she got killed. And so the mom met this cop, so it wasn't her dad, met this cop, and they got together, whatever, and he was, on her birthday, was taking her, quote unquote, to get a pizza for her birthday, but ended up taking her somewhere to rape her and kill her. And he had the audacity to go into jail. The judge was his friend, and he said, I want to represent myself. And so he said, the forensic doctor said, during the confession and the whole court situation, it was very nerve-wracking for him, knowing and seeing what he did to this little girl, and just watching him basically calling her a liar or a tease, or all the different things that they call women that are in those situations that become prey like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he said, he's like, it almost made me quit and change my type of work. But yeah, it's insane, the fact that they some of them will blame the victim for what they're doing, just
What's
like you
part of
said,
that power dynamic.
yeah, just like you just mentioned, oh, well, so and so rejected me and you look like her, so now you're gonna die.
Yeah. I got that last part wrong. It wasn't the guy that inspired Hannibal Lecter. Everything else was the right stuff. Just the last part. His name was Gregorio Cardenas Hernandez.
Okay.
Yeah, he killed 3, 4, 5 different people. This is the guy that loved animals. When he was arrested, one of his only concerns was for someone to take care of his pet, because he didn't want anything to happen to his dog and cat. While in prison, he wrote 3 books, studied psychiatry and law, learned to play the piano, wrote poetry, got married, and had 4 kids. He was released after serving 30 years. And he was celebrated as a clear case of rehabilitation, and gave a speech to the Congress of the Union in
Wow.
He got his law degree and worked as a lawyer until 1999
Yep.
when he died.
84.
He was one of the most celebrated serial killers in Mexico.
They even called him El Carnicero. That's insane. And his charges were, he also dabbled in necrophilia. That's fun.
He did a lot. He was a serial killer. He went looking for people. But supposedly he was also a very charming, nice guy.
Of course.
If I'm not mistaken, one of the girls he killed was he was her boyfriend for a while, but the family didn't like him or were suspicious of him because he was kind of separating her from the family, isolating her, and that's what led to his downfall. But he was the strangler of Tacuba, Gregorio Goyo Cardenas.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch
Something about him.
I'm already bookmarking his wiki page.
I don't know if I could. I don't know. A lawyer.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a lawyer, you want one that knows his shit, right?
True.
But then again, he went to jail. I mean, either way. Yeah, and the thing about it, like if you really think about it, it's a really fucked up way to think, but I mean, there's so many people out there in the world that are doing normal jobs and doing some really fucked up shady shit on the internet or at home or on the down low, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just never know.
No, yeah, you never know. And with a lot of these serial killers, with the exception of a few, but a lot of the real famous ones, they were very smart.
Mhm.
Like I said, with Ed Gein, he wasn't all there.
Yeah, he wasn't, and he wasn't, his other personalities weren't smart either, because I mean, it's not like he was like covering his tracks, like he was leaving everything out in the open.
Yeah, yeah,
And so that's why I think, like, when they started to show more on his like personality switches or his hallucinations, it became more like apparent what that this person was like truly sick. Like it wasn't as much as like the other guys that followed him, where they're narcissistic. They know what they're doing. They have no morals. They have no conscience, no nothing like that. He did, but he didn't have a grasp on what was going on, what he was doing.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
he was like, I have a peculiar hobby.
Yeah.
I dig up bodies and I make things with them.
Yeah, like that was him,
Yeah, and
right?
everyone was like, that's not normal. He's like, I said it was peculiar.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, that's beyond peculiar.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Like that was the actual Ed, right?
Yes, yes.
And then he had the other personalities that made him do other things. Like the fact that Adeline brought him those pictures, like that, I think that was like the kickstart to it. Like he started seeing things and it created that personality of this, the captain or whatever she was.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he started doing the things that she did, quote unquote, did. And so, like, that created a personality there, you know, and then mom dies. So now I gotta be my mom too, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like he was collecting personalities instead of bodies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well that's kind of what he was doing, yeah. Because he would get different bodies to be his mom.
Crazy.
There's just a lot that he did. And but whenever he was truly himself, you could see that he wasn't the brightest person in the world. Like when they tell him to write a number and he goes so slow and it's very sloppy, that goes up to his upbringing because he worked the farm. And the same thing like in Mexico, at a certain age you have that choice, go to school or go to work. And back then in rural America, it's go to school or go to work. And without a dad there, him and his brother kept working.
Yeah. And I don't remember, like, the dad just kind of just didn't appear again, right? Or did he die?
I think he just left.
Yeah, okay. I guess
I
the
don't
dad
remember
wasn't
them
as
saying that like
important in the
he
story.
died or anything. Yeah, he
Yeah.
wasn't that big on the story.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he just left us.
Yeah.
Not he died or anything. He just left us.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, I know he was a drunk,
Yes, yes,
and mom had the reins going on there.
yeah.
That
yeah.
was, yeah, that was insane.
The mom character was just
I think
very,
they picked
very-
the perfect person too.
yes, the perfect actress to portray the mom,
Yes.
the
I mean,
sister from
she's had-
Roseanne.
Yeah. Roseanne is one of my like favorite shows, even though Roseanne turned out to be a racist, but that's a whole different
That's a whole
story.
other thing.
Yeah. But the show itself, even when they continued without her and made the Connors, I still watched it. And I don't know, for some reason, like I live in a very small town in Washington. And it's crazy because, you know, I lived in Mexico, and then the time before coming to Washington, we lived in San Fernando Valley in California. So like, you know, all Spanish everywhere, everything. And when I came here, we moved to a really small town right next to the mountains. And
Yeah.
I was one of 3 Mexican kids in this school. That's it. And there was one black guy. That's it. Everybody else is white. And I had to basically relearn English because I had gone back and forth between California and Mexico. And like I said, all Spanish. You know,
Yeah.
even in California, it's all Spanish. And so I relied a lot on Saved by the Bell, Full House, you know, all of the sitcoms. And when I watched Roseanne for the first time, I was like, oh my God, those are all the families that are around here. Like,
Yeah.
that is how it was. And so that became one of my favorite shows because one, it made me learn about a lot of the people that I like frequented. I had a group of friends that were, you know, around, the families were very similar. And so that became one of my biggest, like, I want to be like Roseanne type deal, you know, like growing up. And switching Jackie into the person that she became, and then like later on she did like what's that one show with the smart kid? Sheldon.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Then she plays his mom on Big Bang Theory, so that was cool. And then you get to see the real crazy part of what she can become as an actress. I don't remember her name. Oh God, what is it? She's always going to be Jackie. I'll just let you look it up. You're faster than me. As soon as you say it.
Laurie Metcalf.
Yes, Metcalf. Yeah, seeing her in that, because she like playing a mom and an aunt. She was also always kind of bossy and kind of, she had that, you know, character, and kind of, especially in the Big Bang Theory where she was like a super Christian, and then seeing her there and like even more so, and then kind of crazy, and the yelling, and the, I think it was a perfect, even in the end when she says that you know,
You did
you're,
something.
when she says that at the very end, when she's like something about your, only a mother could love you or something like that at the very end.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just all tied in. Like, I think that was the perfect person for
Yes. Yes.
the mom role.
To go from controlling, borderline abusive, to the loving mother at the very end shows her range as an actress. And she does have incredible range as an actress, because she's been in a lot of stuff, and she plays her
Even
roles
lately.
very well. Very well.
Yeah, lately she's been in a lot more stuff now.
Yes.
Is
yes.
what I've seen.
She's breaking out of that typecast as Jackie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could go on for hours on the different aspects of all the serial killers and the actors and actresses that portray them. There's just so much.
Yeah, a lot.
And with the way like that I've confused some of the ones that I've talked about, that just shows how much research I've done.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
There's
No,
just
I
a
feel the
lot.
same way, cuz like I could be talking about one person, and then the similar, it doesn't help us when there's so many similarities too in between them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So and then there's that, like the cross-dressing, like earlier with the clown killer, you know. And they're very, like, when you look at their pictures, they're very similar. They're both really chubby. They have those fetishes, and all that goes into play, like it. But like being able to also, especially in like channels like this, being able to like recognize that and like going back and like, oh, that was my mistake. Because there's people out there that are like, it's fine. And you know, that's how like misinformation happens too. And it's also about like people that really want to know and really like are interested to be able to get facts, you know.
Yes.
That's why I was kind of nervous. I'm like, what if I mess up? What if I say something wrong?
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I had something like that recently happen on a video I put out on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and someone put in a comment, they're like, "It didn't happen there. It happened. She didn't get murdered in front of her house. She got murdered on the street in front of a government building." And I went on there and I saw the comment. I was like, "Oh, if I'm wrong, I'll redo the whole video." And I pulled up my research. I was like, two very similar cases. That's what was confusing the guy. And it was a case over vigilante mothers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it was two mothers, very similar stories. Cartel killed their daughters. And they both went after the cartels. The only difference is got killed in front of her house, the other one on the street. And
She didn't die there. She was shot down
yes,
in the street, but then she didn't actually die there. And there's like video of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one had
I know
video.
who
The
you're
other one,
talking
I
about.
think, does have video.
I don't think so. But the one that with the video, there's a I think it was Netflix. There was a documentary on her not long ago because she's the recent one, and she
Yes,
like
yeah.
I think she started looking into like coyotes or something first, and
Yes,
kind of
yes.
worked her way down. Yeah,
She was taking more legal matters
yeah,
because she was going like to the Congress and the government's officials trying to get things passed. Yeah, the other one, she was just going after straight cartel.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, although
Yeah, but I've been called out a few times.
yeah, I can't blame them. It happens, it happens, and it's good that like you're taking accountability and being able to like, go back and like, okay, yeah, I messed up, or actually
Yes.
this is similar to this other thing or whatever. See, one of my biggest things when it comes to starting my podcast, like I said, I want it to be more of a conversational type, like questions, or I'm not saying I'm an expert in any topic, but I know quite a few things.
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of where I want to take it and have like conversations of like my upbringing and like my life and things that I've gone through. And like I talk about it with my cousin on the daily, because we want to do it together. But we know our family, and as much as we would want them to like support us and kind of, watch and stream and do all the things. I feel like some might take some stuff personal because we're very open. We're probably what you would call the black sheep of the family, if you will.
I think a lot of podcasters
Yeah.
are the black sheep of the family. I know I am. Like, guaranteed I am. Because something
Yeah.
happened in my family a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gone very close to no contact with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I have some.
I
Yeah, I have
understand.
some that I have no contact with. Yeah.
Well,
No, I get
let
it.
me rephrase that. I'm the kind of person that if you don't reach out to me, I will never contact you. And I got family on both sides, my mom's and my dad's side. And they're like, "Have you talked to such and such?" I'm like, "No, they have my number.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from them in like 15
It works
years."
both ways.
So I used to try to talk to a lot of family on my dad's side. And I would only ever see them like after a while I kind of gave up. And I would only see them after that like at funerals. And they'd be like, You're you're Joe's son. We haven't seen you in so long. Take our numbers. Come over next week for a party and all this stuff. We'll call you." Nothing. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Y'all have my number.
Yeah.
If y'all
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
need me, call me. See what happens. I've never heard from them ever again.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. But I think that's a common trait with a lot of podcasters. So you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna start doing some stuff, and I have quite the bombshell story to tell. I have the ultimate story time. It goes around a little bit around the topic that I mentioned to you that was going on, but I'm not ready to tell that yet since I'm currently in that. So, but I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's just let's just say this. When we touched that term earlier, a functioning psychopath, that's around, nothing where it involves any sort of like, violence or anything like that, but like mind fucking to the extreme is what, yeah. And so that's what, like, I can't wait to tell this story, even if it's just for me to be able to like get it all out and not just in bits and pieces, even if it doesn't do any numbers, like that's fine. Just for me to be able to get it out is going to be amazing.
Well, the day you do, let me know, and I'll be sure to listen.
Yes, I will let you know. Soon to come. Soon to come.
I was gonna say something. What was it? Oh yeah. The accountability part. There is only one time that I argued it,
Oh.
and this was, I want to say like a year ago, if not a little bit longer. There's another content creator out there that's huge into Hispanic folklore. He's always posting stuff about the Aztec gods and La Llorona and all that stuff, right? And one day he posted a video about lechuzas and narwhals, which are very similar. And I made one comment and I was like, they're not the same thing. Because he said they were the exact same thing. I was like, they're not. And he argued with me about it. I was like, narwhals are just shaman that can change or take on the characteristics of animals. And lechuzas are either like, what's the term? The familiar or the witch itself, not a shaman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he doubled down. He was like, no, they're the same thing. I was like, you know what? Never mind. And to this day, like, it still bothers me. I'm like, dude, just take accountability for it. They're not the same thing. They're very similar. Just say that. But nah, he refuses. And that video came up on my feed like 2 months ago. And I looked and my comment was still there. I was like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I kind of worried about is like, well, when it comes to like the stuff that I want to talk about, it's like personal stuff and like, everyday life stuff. So I'm sure people will have stuff to say, comments and whatnot, or their own opinion. So I don't necessarily have to worry too much about like, accountability as telling a story of somebody else. Like this is my own story and like my own conversation. So I think that's gonna help. But yeah, like that's one of the things that I was like, what are other podcasters gonna have to say about what I'm doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how, yeah, like crosses your mind.
It does. But you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
Because I do paranormal and true crime. You know how many paranormal and true crime podcasts are out there? But my main niche is that I focus a lot on Hispanic crimes. And there's only two other, maybe three other big podcasts that do the same thing. And the funny part is we all have similar names.
Yeah.
There's me, a Spooky Mysteries, and then there's a Spooky Tales, and I can't remember what the other one is. But there's like 3 or 4 other spookies out there.
There's one story that you did that I literally listened to the episode right before I went to bed. Like it didn't like scare me or nothing because it was one that you did on a acquaintance that you had that was in a organized group, if you will. And just the way that it led to her death while she was pregnant. Yes. The amount of those friends that I got rid of that were kind of involved in things like that. And like it's the similarities of like, you know, keeping tabs on somebody and being scared and all the things. Like it's crazy. Specifically that group was also very big here in Seattle
Yes.
for a good amount of time. Yeah.
I even mentioned that in the episode that they moved up north.
Yep. And that is exactly what I said. Yep, they came here.
And that's how they operate.
Yeah, it's insane.
But yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I went to high school with her, middle school. I went to school with her. I knew her. Funny enough, you can't find the episode. Like you can find it, but you can't like stream it, which is weird.
Really? I wonder why.
Like you'd have to buy the series just to watch it. I was like, I just need one episode.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it on YouTube. Like I could find other seasons, other episodes, but that one specific one I couldn't get a hold of.
They do that on purpose. Especially like when something becomes viral, like if there's a story about it, like becoming viral, like on TikTok or anywhere else. And then you go to try to find the one thing about that one particular situation, then it's like, oh, you got to sign up for the, and it's like, okay.
Well, I guess I need to buy a whole new thing just to watch one thing. Well, I think we're done here today.
I think so.
We really didn't cover the two.
I know, but we should have called it the Ed Gein story.
Well, I changed the name, the
Yeah,
title,
I saw that. Yeah.
to just analysis because
Yeah.
we talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is how I run the guest host episodes. It's never focused on directly. There was one episode that I did where I tried my hardest to like refocus in, didn't work. I was like, I like just having a conversation better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Which
and
is
it gives me insight of like, okay, I can definitely do the whole conversation thing. I can
Yes,
keep it
yes.
going, and yeah,
there's
maybe get off topic a bit, but
there's what is it? There's a podcast that does it very good that stays on topic very well. Murder with My Husband.
oh, okay. I'm
And
gonna
their
check
whole
them out.
premise is that the wife loves the true crime. The husband, his name is Garrett, knows nothing about true crime. So she's telling him the entire story, the police reports, everything. And he's never heard of it before. And some of the stories that he's never heard are very famous stories. Yeah, he's never cared about that stuff. He's just lived his life, and now he's hearing the stories, and you hear his reaction as they're telling the stories.
It's funny. I just looked them up, and their very last episode on Monday was Ed Gein's House of Horrors.
Yeah, they're very good at staying with everything that's happening now that's going viral.
Okay, cool,
So
cool,
like
cool.
as different movies and different shows come out, you'll notice that like their very next episode is that case. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But they've also solved like one crime. So they've been doing it for a long time. And I think the wife's mom is a reporter or something high up enough to where she can get certain types of intel. So, which is pretty cool though.
That is cool. Nice. Good to know.
Oh,
Got another podcast to listen to.
Before we disconnect the call here, and just talking about like cases that have been solved. Something came out from the FBI. I can't remember how long ago it was, but they were asking the public, especially true crime enthusiasts, to stop looking into crimes because they were solving more crimes than the FBI. I was like, that's embarrassing.
There is actually I'm going to send it to you, but there is a podcast. It's two friends that started doing mysteries of the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but they're fairly small, but they started doing their podcast. And so one of them was trying to get ideas and decided to post in a Facebook group for missing people here in the area. And they, that's how they get a lot of their stories. Like they tell a story of like certain people that have gone missing. They actually covered one from here, the town that I live in. And I do believe that they have gotten closer on certain missing people. And so, like, I completely get what you're saying. It's like with the FBI, like, I mean, to be honest, like when you think about missing people, like you see the community kind of do more of the work.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you should be asking for help instead of telling people not to help.
Yes.
You know, obviously we're doing something right.
And I said that in one of my recent episodes too.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no matter what they tell you, keep pushing.
Yeah, you got to
Because-
keep doing it.
It's not that they're trying to tell you to stop. Is that they're trying to tell you like they're trying. But the way they do it, it just sounds like they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is it for now.
Cool.
If you ever want to do this again, let me know. We can do this again later.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. And thank you again for having me on and letting me kind of get my feet wet in the whole podcast thing. I mean, I've done lives, but that's not the same. And yeah, this has been fun, and hopefully we can do it again. And maybe someday I'll have you come on my podcast.
Yeah. Once everything gets organized on your end, I'll gladly do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
That is it, guys. I will see y'all later. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to do. Ran a little long, 2 hours, but fine. I'll cut this up. Send out episodes, all this stuff like I normally do. And like always, stay spooky. And like I just said, for missing people, keep pushing. If they tell you to stop, they're not telling you to stop completely. They're just telling you not to. They're seeing you more as a hindrance instead of a help, which is kind of fucked up because you're there to help, but they're trying to get their facts in order, which takes a lot more time than what the people can do. So always keep pushing, never stop, and especially when it comes to missing people. And that's it, guys. I'll see y'all later. And again, stay spooky.